face today. I call it extreme vetting. I call it extreme vetting.
Donald Trump calling for extreme vetting to stop suspected ISIS terrorists at the border. Let's go right now to American Islamic Forum for Democracy's Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, someone who has called repeatedly for reform in Islam. Dr. Jasser, good to have you here. How do you interpret what he said?
Well, I think it's finally happening. We're finally having a conversation about how vetting should happen. And this is what our Muslim reform movement's been calling for, is that our Statue of Liberty means something. It's about those who share our values of freedom, liberty, free speech, equality of men and women, the equality of anyone based on gender identity, etc. This is the way to vet people wanting to come here. And vetting, remember right now, of the refugees, studies have shown that 13% had sympathy for ISIS. That's because they're not vetting for ideology. America has done this before. We fought the Cold War, where we vetted against communist ideologues, we vetted against those who were in favor and working with the Soviets, etc. We need to start doing that. Will it be foolproof? No, but right now we're doing none of it. And I'm glad to no longer be hearing about this ban of Muslims, etc. That doesn't work. We need to do theo-political vetting, which is finally what we're starting to talk about.
I just want to clarify something. You said 13% of the people that are being vetted to come here that are Muslim have sympathy for ISIS, and they've been allowed to come here?
That's what the studies and some of the European refugees has shown, and France and others are finally waking up. They're saying, wait a minute, France was supposed to take in 30,000, they've only taken a few, and they want to hold on it. Why? It's not just because of public pressure, it's because they're seeing they're at war. Yeah. Clarion Project released that study 4 or 5 months ago. Few people paid attention to it, but it's been studied. The bottom line is that when they're escaping Syria, there are many different factions. Not only those who are anti-Assad, but we have to vet for those to come here that are both anti-Assad and anti-ISIS. And I hope as we start to look at a policy to protect us at the homeland, we also realize we have to have better policy in Syria, northern Iraq, to not only defeat ISIS, but defeat Assad and the cauldrons that brew these radicals.
And what do you say to those who worry, of course, about religious discrimination? I know, again, you've been calling for reform within the religion, but this is a religion that, fundamentally really believes Sharia law should be the law of the land.
Well, I pray and I hope that what Mr. Trump's talking about is not a religious vetting for pietistic personal faith of Islam, but a theo-political vetting against those who believe in the Sharia state, the Islamic state, any tyrannical type of regime that puts in Sharia law. So these types of ideas are incompatible with America, and I would hope our Muslim reform movement has a 2-page declaration that us reform-minded organizations in the U.S., Canada, and Europe signed. It's simple, 12 principles. If people coming over can believe in those things and they can be vetted for those ideas, we should welcome them. If they can't, then they should not be allowed to come to the United States or to the West.
It seems as though, much of the religion really is due for that reform. So, kudos to you for getting out there and talking about it so much as you do. I know that you get a lot of pressure from many in that community because of it, but we appreciate you always joining us. Thank you so much, Dr. Jasser.
Anytime.